I'm rolling and... Hi, Jaana.
Hi.
My name is Ayo Shonaiya. I'm doing a documentary about the history of Afrobeats / history of Nigerian music industry, pop industry. And what are you doing in Nigeria right now?
Yes, so thank you so much for having me. I'm an anthropologist at Oxford University, and what I'm focusing on is music and capitalism and how they mediate each other. And I've chosen Nigeria, Lagos in particular, because I think that relationship in Lagos is particularly close for structural, historical, economic reasons. Music is embedded in consumption and reciprocally. So yeah, that was my focus.
My question would be, how do we link anthropology?
There are different strands of anthropology, and what I'm doing is social anthropology, which is precisely the study of human communities, so human cultures. And my focus here is the Lagos music industry. So not the music, but the music industry, and how the people behind that industry mediate aesthetic and economic dimensions through this music. So yeah, anthropology is a means to explore this industry, because as an anthropologist, I do ethnography, which means I follow people, key people in the industry to understand it from their perspective. And so I think that's really what anthropology can add here, understanding it through the lens of the actors who are making this industry what it is.
What have you found out that has sort of like blasted you away so far in the course of your research? What is one thing that you think, whoa?
Well, I think first of all, it's important to say that Nigeria is not that different. You know, we tend to use, especially when it comes to business, we tend to use America as the case study because it's supposed to be somewhat neutral. But it's not. America has its own culture, history, just like any part of the world. And so there's no reason not to focus on Nigeria when talking about music, you know, and rather focus on other, maybe more developed markets. Like Nigeria provides a fantastic case study when it comes to the nexus between music and advertising, for example. You know, with the lack of structures to maybe monetize music through sale, like very early on, corporations have played a key role in providing streams of revenue for artists. So
what about music and culture? Instead of music and advertising, what about music and culture?
So you mean like traditional culture?
You see, the funny thing about Nigeria is most Nigerians don't know the difference between culture and tradition. Sometimes even think it is the same.
Yes.
And I always say to people, if culture and tradition are the same, then there will be no two names for it. But culture in itself is culture cuts across fashion, lifestyle, music, film, politics. Can you give us a brief insight into the difference, please? From an outsider point of view.
Yes, so from an anthropologist's perspective, I would say culture is a lived phenomenon. It's a dynamic process, it evolves. And there's no set of rules, it's not written, it's something that people will live in their everyday lives. And cultures change. And that's very important from the point of view of popular culture, music in particular, is that music is of course a reflection of that everyday culture, but it also impacts it. And so that was an interesting conversation, for example, with the rise of Naira Marley, that he could not last because of Nigerian culture. And Nigerian culture is fundamentally religious, we hear, moralistic. So someone like him could not last in that culture. But cultures evolve, and maybe he's part of making that culture evolve. We don't know yet. But yeah, I think that's how I would, you know, distinguish culture from tradition, is that culture is a dynamic process.
That dynamic process, do you think it's is it a progressive process over time? For example, let me take you back to the interview that I had with you. I'm like, before we go into Naira Marley, it's like there's some things that are showing signs early, but because we did not think of it as something that is that important, but it keeps creeping up into our consciousness. For example, me and you talked about the song Maga Don't Pay. And I said to you that that was the first time that I realized that we are beginning to get into this irresponsible way of life. But it becomes acceptable because it's delivered to us from entertainment. Do you think that entertainment can actually make people lose their sense of culture and tradition?
Music is at the core of really what shapes people's subjectivities on a subconscious basis, but every day. So yeah, I would say that music has power. I'm not saying we need to hold artists responsible because they have that power, but to deny it, I think would be a mistake.
Okay, so let's use Naira Marley as our case study. He has managed to tap into what Nigeria has become. Bad manners, for the lack of a better word, is profitable. As we have seen with him.
Well, he's framing it as a post-colonial statement, you know. That's really how he tried to present it, that it's actually, you know, really rooted in Western philosophy, what he's saying, like very strongly critical theory, like what is wrong, who determines what is wrong, what is not wrong, when you're in the position of an oppressed.
Right,
yes. Since Nigerians are oppressed by forces that they can't control and which are the result of historical processes, colonialism, etc., who can say what is wrong in that context? So it's interesting that, you know, Nigerians would respond very strongly to that, like the masses would actually respond to his mediation of these philosophical concepts and find, therefore, a way to justify, to find a moral grounding to what is generally considered crime and legally considered crime, and which, you know, as we have discussed, I've had that discussion with many people, tainted the reputation of Nigerians abroad and made it much more complicated for them to travel, open businesses abroad, etc.
I've used this word before. It's almost like his bad manners is rewarded. Do you think so?
Yes, of course it is. I think it's not just, you know, however good the beat is, people say, oh, it's a strong beat. Yes, Rexy made the beat, it's a very nice beat, but, you know, it wouldn't generate that level of enthusiasm. Like, it's a whole different level. It's really grounded in something deeper. So his message truly resonates with people, and it's much beyond the street. It's every level of society. It cuts across class, gender, definitely gender. So yeah, I think it's an interesting phenomenon, and several academics have actually started to pick it up because it says something deeper about Nigerian society. If you know, I don't know how old he is, but probably not even 25.
Exactly. You don't, apart from his age, you don't know the kind of family background.
Exactly.
Do you think that Marley could be Marley's thing could be an act, or it's just a representation of who he is? Which one do you think?
You know, I think as a person, he's rather irrelevant. I don't know, maybe he will have a strong legacy, but I think he really became a hero without really planning it. It just, at this moment in time, that's what Nigerian society was calling for. And maybe no one was answering that call so far. Like, none of the institutions, political, religious, elders were able to, you know, acknowledge. I think we can talk about a kind of trauma of living in a certain hypocrisy with limited opportunities, being told what is wrong when, you know, people may not have other choices or feel like they don't have another choice. And suddenly he comes and he feels like he's not held to any of those standards and just says random things. And it just picks up, you know.
But it doesn't say random things, though. He says some things that could be considered misogynist. It can be seen as gender prejudice. It can be seen as, just like you said, crime. It can be seen as anarchy. So I always look at it like Sex Pistols were all about. In fact, they have a song called Anarchy.
Yes.
You understand?
We had that in France. I'm originally from France, and in the 60s we also had, actually very similar to Naira Marley, we had singers who just spoke on songs using slang and saying controversial things. That was in the 60s. And today they are our most revered artists. So, that's why I don't know what Naira Marley's legacy will be. But yeah, that is not a new phenomenon in pop music at all. In all honesty, I don't think anything has really shocked me that much. One thing that I find very interesting is how likability is at the center of the music industry. The persona of the artist can really even erase the musical shortcomings in many cases. And so I think...
Or sorry to cut you off.
Yes.
The persona of the artist can erase the music, or the music can make us not disregard, can make us it can make us not focus on the persona of the artist. Oh, we're enjoying the music, and I think that's the category that I'm in. Mm-hmm. I enjoy Naira Marley's music. You understand?
Yes.
So I don't care about his persona. Not that I key into his, but there's some people that key into his persona.
Yes.
And the music is just like a bonus.
Yes.
For me, I don't like what Naira Marley says, but I enjoy the music. It's like Naira Marley puts us in a hypocritical category. I don't know if you've seen that from
yes,
the research.
And that's why I think he took Nigeria by storm, is that it's putting people face to face with their contradictions. I need it to happen at some point. There is a lot of hypocrisy in society, and so someone who puts that mirror in front of you is going to create some kind of social movement, be a social phenomenon. So that's what we are witnessing today. And I don't know if it's the start of something or if it's just one moment, but surely it's an interesting conversation.
What is the meaning of no manners?
It's the gang, innit? That is the gang. Black girls, there's actually a lot of us. Well, no manners, that's the gang.
Okay. So gang.
So there's a million of us with dreadheads back in Peckham, Southeast London.
So is that where I want more Peckham, I want more talent? Is that where it came from? What does that mean?
What talent?
Like they're spicy?
Ah, spicy, they're tatas, man.
One of the most famous interviews that you did on Money Talks that got you the prominence that I think maybe by default was the one with Naira Marley.
Naira Marley.
First of all, people didn't know who Naira Marley was as a person.
Yeah.
I think you were the one that showed them.
Yeah, that's the first interview.
And I remember somebody commenting.
Still the only interview he's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember somebody writing like, hold on, this Naira Marley stuff sounds as if you have a British accent. Like, this guy is not. He's not street like.
Yeah.
Maybe he's an act.
He's like, no, he's the mix of both. Like he can be very like rugged, and he can be very like British. He's like the best of both worlds, or should I say the worst of both worlds?
And then of course controversy was brewing then when he said the comments about Tiwa Savage not being.
Yeah. So I think people got that misconstrued. Like I think they only watched that clip. I don't think they watched the full thing. So
somebody cut it out and put it out.
Yeah. So I asked him. I was like, so who in the industry do you think is sexy? So the problem was he didn't really know that many women in the industry. So I started mentioning names to like jog his memory. To see half the names I even said, he did not even know them. He just kept saying, yeah. Just because he didn't want to say on camera that, oh, I don't know these women, to embarrass them. Mm-hmm. So he just kept saying, yeah. So I now said to Tiwa Savage, he was now like, oh, I don't think she's sexy, but I think she's beautiful. Like she doesn't give me sex vibes. Mm-hmm. Like when I see her, I don't want to jump on her. Mm-hmm. That's what he was saying, but he thinks she's beautiful. So, I mean... Yeah.
And I think in a way you kind of put Naira Marley, because you see me, I've been in this industry for over 27 years, actively in the music industry after film for 21 years.
Okay.
And I see the progression of people, and I know when people get their first breaks.
Yeah.
So for you and Naira Marley, I think that sparked off something that was beneficial for both of you.
Yeah, definitely.
People started knowing you because that clip was played,
Yeah.
and noticed that you had an accent too, and then people now started following you as Bad Girl.
Yeah.
But Naira Marley's own controversy was brewing then, and it has now brewed to the point where he's now, that's his logo now, that's his brand.
But I think it's EFCC that made him blow.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. And then another thing about him is that a lot of people don't understand is he does not care. Like, music, like, yeah, he actually doesn't care. Like, people think, like, oh, it's an act. Like, if tomorrow you told him, like, oh, you can't do music, no one would say, okay. Like, I don't think, because apparently, like, he was already big in London. and music was just like
big in London.
well, like in the Peckham area.
Peckham area and everything. We knew who Naira Marley was.
Yeah.
My son liked Naira Marley. In fact, my children are the ones that tell me about Naira Marley. My son raps and he references Naira Marley. Like, they say things like that. So I'm like, okay. But when I heard it's a go, I'm like, okay, that's the guy that they call Naira Marley. And then, of course, I saw the clip. And then from the clip, you now sort of remember the name. And it goes on and on to where it is.
I'm not going to lie. Before It's a Go, like, when I was in America and I didn't really like Naira Marley. I was like, because he did a remix to one of Wizkid's songs. And I was like, what is this trash? Like, I was like, who are you? But then I met him because I used to do like some type of managing. So I did tour manager for Dice Ills. So so he had a tour that I helped him organize called Art. That's actually how I met Naira and Zlatan.
Okay.
So I met Naira and like he was cool. Like we went to AKT, we were in a 6-hour bus ride and like we had full-blown conversation. I was like, man, this guy's not as dumb as like,
In fact, I put a tweet that time when that whole EFCC boy, I said, he's making stupid statements, but he's not stupid.
Yeah, he's actually
could
pretty.
mean that he actually believes what he's saying because that's his world.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that.
That when it's your world.
We have been, you can go back to all my tweets and my Facebook posts about when we started singing what they now call Yahoo Yahoo rap. Like we listen to Maga Don't Pay.
Yeah.
We were dancing to it, of course. Yahoo, thank you very much. And of course, Nice With. We listen to those songs and we kind of like bump our heads to it, we enjoy it and
definitely.
everything. It's the beat, like, although I don't want to talk about Naira Marley too much.
Yeah.
Naira Marley has a gift of recognizing a good beat.
Definitely.
So whatever he now puts on it, and of course the shit that he puts on it is even cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, and that's his magic right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Even that Puta song, like the word Puta itself is disgusting.
It's derogatory, but he turned it into.
But he just turned it into.
And it's so funny because no matter how much outrage comes on Twitter, the song is always #1. So who is playing the music?
So, and then you say you are a Malian too, and that's giving that Malian movement.
Shout out to the Malians. See, all the Malians, you don't have to be Raz, you can be a fine girl.
Oh, no, I don't even think.
You can be a fine girl. People think that Malians are just a group of Raz.
Since you are a celebrity Malian now, what is a Malian?
That's a good question. A Malian is a true fan of Naira Marley, MBG can either be no belts gang or no bra gang.
I was going to say, you don't wear belts, but okay, I get you.
No bra, but a Malian is a true, believer.
He's just a fan. It's just like all these people do.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
mercenaries.
Definitely.
So it's not like it's
no, it's not a cult. No, it's not a cult.
It's just Malians.
No, she cult.
Apart from Naira Marley, though, is there anybody that has also struck you as being what's the word? Generation defining in Nigeria, especially with the Afrobeats music?
Yes.
Who else?
Well, I think the point I was making about likability is really key when you look at the top of the charts in Nigeria, when you look at people like Davido, Teni, Wizkid, who have very good music, admittedly, but most of all, people love them. They find reasons to love them, and they will just, erase whatever song didn't work or whatever aspect of the society that, exhibits some shortcoming because they have decided they love them. And so in that sense, the Nigerian public is very interesting, and I think maybe to some extent, that's what has belated the crossover to foreign markets. Because why did someone like Burna Boy only become a star, like big star, in 2019 when he had Soke in 2015, for example, which could have been like his
career, and it came out in 2012.
Yes,
so
yes.
Why now?
And Soke was already, same acoustic feel, organic kind of vibe. But
Afrobeat kind of vibe as
yes,
well,
yes,
music,
yes. So the fact that it took so long to, reward him as an artist, I think has to do with all these other factors that Nigerians take into considerations, but that the public abroad will not take into considerations, because what travels first is the music. Then they start being interested in the personality of the singer. So I guess that's a striking factor in the industry, is that music is almost not segmented. You don't have like a pop rock public, heavy metal public, and fights between them. If anything, you have fights between like Davido fans and Wizkid fans.
But somebody told me before, somebody said, we are all striking art and appealing to the same set of fans.
Yes.
You don't have, in America, there are some people that only listen to R&B,
yes.
and some people that only just listen to rock, and some people that only listen to folk and bluegrass. In Nigeria, we are all targeting the same audience. Yes. We just want to catch their interest at a certain time.
Yes.
Maybe that's what defines this Dirty December. Like in December, people will just go to any shows because they want to have a good time. It's the same people that we're pitching to.
That's definitely a striking feature of Nigerian music industry. So as you said, you have those December concerts, and not only can someone go to any of the concerts regardless of genre, but at the same concert, you will have all the top artists regardless of genre. A rapper will invite, a pop singer. I'm thinking of Black Bones inviting Joe Boy,
What do you think of the term for the genre, or the name for the genre, Afrobeats, with the S? Do you like it, love it, indifferent, or you just don't care?
It's a very interesting question, because I came in June 2018 for preliminary research, and that's the same question that I asked everyone who I met, because I was thinking, for my academic writing, what term am I going to use? Because I know Afrobeats is very controversial. A lot of people, at the time, no one liked it. Almost all the people I asked, for different reasons, it subsumes different musical genres. It was coined by someone abroad. For multiple reasons, people didn't think it reflected the richness of Nigerian musical traditions or contemporary music. And today, almost everyone I talk to has accepted the term for pragmatic reasons. So I think I'm more on the pragmatic side on this one. And I like the fact, after thinking about it, I like the fact that Afrobeats is not a genre. And again, we're in a time where notion of genre is challenged from everywhere. So Afrobeats is just a practical term to refer to multiplicity of beats from a certain region of the world. And so I like that part. And I like that it's just, the recognition that Nigerians want to market their music abroad, and they need a vehicle to do that.
I know I said final question, but I know you've been doing all this research, you've interviewed people, you've had conversations, personally, what do you think of our music? Forget about all the academic stuff that you're trying to do. How does Afrobeats move you? Or not?
Well, two things. First, I've been listening to Nigerian music for, close to 10-15 years now. And it didn't start with Afrobeats. It actually started with very different music, Asha, Ayo, Neka. So that's where I started realizing, there's a conjunction of artists all coming from that same country, but all having this dual identity. Asha was born in France or grew up in France. Neka is also half German. So, I think you really can't forget the importance of the diaspora for Nigerian music. It's visible even today, Seishe, Tiwa Savage, etc. Even Burna Boy studied in the UK. So that's what...
And the video.
Obviously, yes. So that really makes the music richer. Then it went on to pop music with P Square, D'banj, Yemi Alade, Mr. Easy, who all did very well abroad. Some of them didn't do as well locally, but abroad, these were the big names. So yeah, I love the music. I wouldn't have chosen this topic if it wasn't for personal passion too. Like, it's a big investment to, I had a corporate job before that in Wall Street and stop everything and come here. So I love the music. And the second point is that because Nigerian music is so much about the people, the likability. When you're here, it feels like, even if I didn't have this job where I actually get to meet people, but it feels like you know the artist personally, because there's one big public. We all listen to the same gossip. You can talk to someone like a bus driver or someone at a restaurant about the new gossip of an artist, as if, or the album strategy of an artist, as if you both know the person and you have their best interest in mind. So that gives like a whole different dimension to the music, because you have a personal interest in the career of those people, and so that's very strong, I think.
Music aside, how's the food? I know you we dropped you off at Ilabe and stuff like that. You must have imbibed some other things apart from your research. How's the food?
Yeah, I eat
lifestyle?
all Nigerian food. Yeah, almost all Nigerian food. I don't eat pomo, but I had Nigerian
Why don't
friends.
you eat pomo?
I don't know. It's too different. Like, that's way too different.
It's like you're eating your leather bag.
Yes. And
So
I learned that there is no nutrients. So I'm like, okay, there's no reason.
There's no nutrients in pomo. When the pomo is soaked well in the stew, in the pepper.
But I can just eat the stew.
No. The pomo actually draws and absorbs the pepper and the stew and everything. And who told you there's no nutrients in pomo? Who is the person that's been telling you lies? But what do you think of the food?
Yeah, I love the food, and I actually loved it before coming here. And that's another interesting point. I loved all kinds of African music. So I've always been following what was happening. But then what made the difference about Nigeria is the Nigerian diaspora. And, that's why if we're talking about Africa to the world, and I'm an example of that, if I'm, that demographic that represents like crossover, not having any ties, like genetic ties to Africa, it's definitely through the diaspora. And so, yeah, we can't understate the role that these people have played as ambassadors for their culture. And so when it comes to music or food, I was familiar with it as soon as I started living in Anglophone countries. There were always Nigerians around, and they were always involved in marketing their culture.